Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be making another fabric document holder or fabric holder, whatever you want to call it really. I'm going to be using this fabric here. Now at the time of recording this video it's March 2021. This project has been cut up and prepared since December 2020. At the time I cut it and prepared it all, I never thought it was going to take me this long to get around to making the actual project. Fortunately, at the time I did it, I've actually drawn a diagram and worked it all out with sizes, and this has all been kept together, and this has just been on top of a shelf in my craft room. So at least now I'm coming back to actually getting round to making the project and filming it for you. At least I've got some notes I can refer to. Now, I've made something similar before. This was something else I did in a video, and this has got a clear window on the front and it's got applique on the inside of the back, which you can't see because it's got all papers inside it. And this one has binding around the edge. The one I'm going to make today is going to be slightly different in size. It's a little bit longer, and it's all fabric, so no clear no clear lining on the front, and I'm not going to do the binding. So I'll just tell you what I'm using. By the way, all these fabrics are the fabrics that I bought at the back end of last year, November, December time. These are Cricut fabrics, and I think from memory they were Riley Blake, but I'm not sure, but they were definitely from Hobbycraft, and they were a pack of Cricut, like fat quarters. I think there was 5 different designs. So what do you need? Okay, so I've got 2 pieces here that are 13.5 inches wide by 3 inches high, folded and pressed in half. So 2 of those. I've got a zip bigger than I need. I prefer to work that way. I'd rather have the zipper out of the way, and then I can cut it while I'm making up my project. This is a number 3 zipper. It doesn't really matter, I don't think, whether you use a 3 or a 5, but this is a number 3. And as you can see, it's a lot bigger than my project. I think this one's about 16 inches. I've got 2 pieces of fabric. These are going to be for the front. So you need a front that's going to show on the outside, and you need a front that's going to be on the inside. These are 13.5 by 8 3/4 inches high. And then I've got 2 pieces of fabric which are going to be for my back. And these are 13.5 wide by 11.5 high. And I'm going to iron some fusible webbing onto the back of one of them. So the whole thing, it's kind of going to be like double lined, if you like, because this is going to get sandwiched in here, and that's going to be the back, and then these 2 pieces will be the front with the zipper, and your documents will go in there. So that in my particular case, the 2 white sections will be together. Okay, so that's everything you need. So I'm going to iron this fusible batting onto the back of one of my pieces, and I always cut my batting a little bit shorter all the way around, because I don't like to have to struggle with the, sewing it through the seams. So this is 13 by 11. So as you can see, it's a tiny little bit shorter all the way around. So I'm going to iron that onto there to prepare that, and then I'm going to come back and start sewing the front. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take the 2 front pieces and I'm going to put them right sides together. But I'm going to put one of these 13.5 by 3 inch strips in between. So you want all the raw edges on the outside and the fold towards the centre. So I've got there's no really right or wrong side with this, but if you were using a pattern fabric, you'd want your right side up. This is going to line up along the top edge, and then my piece of fabric that's going to be the outer side is going to go right side down. So that's going to get sandwiched together like so, and I'm going to sew straight along this top edge, and I'm just using the needle in its regular position on my sewing machine and a regular stitch length. Okay, so I've got all my 3 pieces layered up together. I'm just going to put this under the foot of my machine, and I'm going to line the edge of the fabric with the edge of the presser foot, and as I said, my needle is just set in its normal middle position and a normal standard length. Okay, so I'm just going to open this out, press it down with my fingers, and then I'm going to top stitch along the edge of this blue fabric. So I'm just going to do a top stitch along the top of the blue fabric now, just to make sure that I secure this piece to the white piece that's underneath, really. More than anything. You don't have to do it because it's going to get sewn together when you sew the seams up, but I think it might just, you know, look nice. I'm just going to move my needle over, and again I'm just lining the edge of the foot up to the edge of this blue fabric. Okay, so that's how that's looking now. So what I'm going to do now is bring in my zip. This is going to be the front of the pocket. So you've got to decide which side you want to open your zip from. If you want to open it from left to right, then put your stopper on this side. If you want to open yours from right to left, then, you know, swap yours around. So I'm going to, this is the folded edge of this kind of pinky piece of fabric. I'm going to line that up on top of the zipper so that the fold is just under the teeth, and then I'm going to stitch that down. Then I'm going to bring in my other piece that's 13.5 by 3 that I've got folded in half, and I'm going to line this up with the fold facing in. So all the open edges are going to be on the top and bottom of the fabric. So I'm going to do one at a time. Okay, so I've got the zipper foot on, and I'm just going to attach this piece of fabric now to this zip. And I'm sewing off the fabric onto the zip because I'm going to be cutting this later. So that's how it's looking now. So now I'm going to bring the other piece of fabric in with the fold side towards the zip, the open edges on the top, and I'm going to attach that to the other side of the zipper. Okay, so that's what we've got now. So that's the front of the holder. I'll trim all the threads and everything later. Okay, so learn from my mistakes. I've put all this together for the next part of the video and sewn it wrong because I've had to unpick it, but learn from my mistakes and hopefully I'll sew it together right now and it'll turn out okay. So I'm just going to pop this on one side for now. So I've got my 2 pieces of back fabric, one of which has got the iron-on wadding on the back. So that piece is going to go right side up, so the wadding down on the table. I'm going to bring in the piece I've just sewn with the zip, and I'm going to position that on top, right side down. So the right sides are together. Okay, so right side, wadding touching the table. I've got the zip open. And then I'm going to bring in my other back piece and put that right side down. I'm going to sew around the 4 sides, leaving an opening in the bottom of about 3.5 to 4 inches. Now obviously you can't see the zip extending as you could before, because I'd sewn it all together and trimmed off the edges of the zip and then flipped it out and realised I'd sewn it the wrong way round. But my zip is open, okay, so that's the main thing to say. Let's see if I've done this right. So I'm going to look for where the outer fabric is next to my piece of lining. And I'm just going to put my hand into the corner and start to pull this right side out. And if I've sewn it right this time, it should be correct. I've left my zip open so that I can make sure I can get into it once I've turned it right side out. I'm just going to try and get in here and push out the corners. Might have to go in from the inside. Can get rid of any stray threads once I've got the bulk of this all folded out. That's looking better now. Before I had the inside wadding showing, so you shouldn't be able to see any of the seams basically. Okay, so I've got it flipped the right side out. I've still got my hole in the bottom. I'm going to just give it a very quick top stitch all the way around, very close to the edge. That's going to seal up the gap and I think just finish it off. I'm opening my zip because obviously I need to go across here, so I'm just going to take my time when I go across where the zip is, but I'm just going to try and top stitch it very close to the edge all the way round. So I'm just going to line the edge of my presser foot up with the edge of my fabric, and I've moved my needle as far over as it will go to the right to just help me get a nice little top stitch along here and just see how this works out. But you know, what should have been a simple project has turned into a bit of a pain for me, really, sewing it up wrong. But this is what happens, isn't it? You know, so you learn by your mistakes, and then, you know, hopefully I'll still have a decent project at the end of all this. So when I get to where the zip is, I'm just going to go very, very slowly over this bit. It is a nylon zip, so it should be fine. Then I'm just going to come back to where I started, back tack, and that should hopefully be done. Phew, finished. So that's it done. So no raw edges showing on the inside. All nicely finished. Just needs another quick press now. Just going to bring in, this is one of the manuals for my new sewing machine. So this is like an A4 size thickish manual, and that fits in. So it you know, it should hold papers and things, whatever you want to put in it. So as I say, you know, it was a bit of trial and error for me. It should have been simple, but you know, when you're not concentrating properly and you put something together wrong, it does happen to all of us. You just unpick it and you carry on, and you know, it will hopefully turn out right in the end. So that was today's project, showing how to make another fabric zipper folder or holder. Please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.